Bang bang, what's popping? If you know, you know. So welcome back to the channel. Full card predictions for Yam versus Figueiredo from a betting perspective. Breaking down the fights, breaking down matchups, breaking down the betting side of things. So there's some housekeeping I need to get out of the way. So last week I went 2-1 on the bets I gave out. I gave out Oban Elliott, closed 1.33. I gave out Jake Paul, bet of the century. That was a rock solid bet. Really like that one. I also gave out Damon Jackson, which I gave out at Pick'em. He closed like 1.43. Now I had a few people reach out and they're like, Lewis, I lost like my bankroll. And I'm thinking, what on earth are you doing? How can you be risking so much going 2-1? You're probably betting other stuff as well, right? So you might be betting the entire card, betting this bet, but it has to be a degree of risk management and bankroll management before you even think about making a single dollar. That's the key, before you even think about making $1. You need to be protecting your downside risk, keeping that to a minimum. You get me, you understand? So, the barrier to entry is very low in betting. Anyone with $10, $1, £1, €1, 1 pence, they can participate in the betting market because the barrier to entry is very low. And a lot of people, they lose money in this. Like, isn't the statistics like 99% or something like that? So a very small amount of people actually make money from this. So first things first, you've got to have some bankroll management, good risk management. You should be able to take, touch wood, don't happen, but you should be able to lose like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 bets and still have like a bit of a bankroll left. So yeah, got to protect your downside risk. And also there's a difference between high stakes gambling and low stakes gambling, in my opinion. So if you're betting $1 fight, the stakes are very low. If you lose, it's not the end of the world, right? But when you're high stakes, putting 1G, 2G, that kind of level of betting, is a whole different level of game, psychologically, mentally, pressure wise. But even then, you should still have like some sort of risk management, right? So yeah, when I get messages like that, it makes me not want to give out the free bets. I'd rather just keep on the Patreon. I know my action's starting to get a bit of respect. Obviously, shout out to my Patreon members, but I think there's a few kind of high rollers on there. And whenever I've been tipping something the last couple of weeks, the lines have been moving a ton. So yeah. Anyways, housekeeping out of the way. Let's get right into the breakdown videos. Let's make myself smaller. And first fight of the night, we got Machete versus Nicholas Motta. So, it's a good fight to start the card, right? It should be a intriguing one. So you got Machete. To me, he's like a kind of long, rangy, traditional kickboxer, right? He's 6 foot. I don't really see anything too special with him. I don't really see like a it factor. He just looks like a standard kickboxer, really. Fairly average, with all due respect. I don't see him become an elite or anything. I think there was a bit of hype on him in the past, but he didn't look great against Benitez, which was the last fight. Looked fairly average against a watered down, declining version of Gabriel Benitez. But he is 24. He could be making improvements fight to fight. And he came off a tough fight against Slava. And yeah, he lost against Garcia, so he might have to shake some things off coming off those fights. So that might explain the bad performance, but from what I'm seeing, I'm not really seeing like an it factor. Now when we go to the Motta side, he's mainly a striker too. If we go over to the betting line, I think the betting lines are maybe a tad bit wide. I think the line should be a little bit more tighter. I think I think the line should be probably Machate's slight favourite. I think 2-1, you're kind of pushing it. You're not really getting any discounts to be able to back Machate, but overall, I slightly lean towards him being able to secure the victory. That, it could easily be a back and forth competitive fight where one fighter just about edges it out. So, yeah. Alright, next fight. We got Quang Li versus Zhao Long. So, Quang Li, he's not like a traditional kind of Asian fighter. I think he trains at Killcliff. Checked out his record, 8-1. He was fighting in LFA, and he's not like these kind of foreign fighters padding out their records, taking easy fights, building up a resume. I didn't see that in him. He's been fighting in America, in LFA as mentioned. He trains at Killcliff, and I can see he's kind of traditionally trained, classically trained. So he trains at Killcliff, so that makes sense, right? I do like that gym. You're going to get solid work. You got experienced coaches there. Now, against Chris Gutierrez, he didn't look too bad. I thought he held his one around one. Striking, got a takedown in round one, and I think in round two, I definitely know you got a takedown in round two. But obviously, Chris Gutierrez, he's like a solid, like mid-level bantamweight, right? So, yeah. We go to the Long Jiao side. There's not a lot of film for a guy with his record. 26-8. I only found a couple of fights of him. What he likes to do, he really likes to put on like a grinding pace, really make the fight ugly, makes it, grindy, push a heavy pace, make it a messy fight, unclean fight. I think he does this because, I don't think he's the most like technically refined fighter. I don't see him like as a really, really clean technical kickboxer, really, really good kind of grappler. And maybe I'm overthinking things, but I think one of the reasons why he fights like that is because I think he lacks a little bit of self-belief, maybe. His record's most likely padded up. He doesn't really have the proper skill set. But he makes it work right with his style, with his game. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to pick Quang Li here. Obviously, these fights are tricky. I wouldn't be, going crazy on this card. This is a pretty tricky card. But Quang Li, because I do think he is the more kind of technically refined fighter. I was going to bet him, but I saw his fight 1 year ago, 1 month ago, where he got grinded on. And that kind of put me off him, because I feel like Zhao Long could definitely come in. Well, I know that's what he's going to come in with a game plan. Push that grinding pace, push that heavy pace. That's what he's going to want to do to win this fight. So, yeah, I see why the money's coming in on Zhao Long. You see that fight he had in LFA a year ago. Feel like you can push a better pace, but maybe I'm wrong. But in this current scenario, I'd rather just kind of side with Quang Li, just because I do think he is a more kind of technically refined fighter. But yeah, Zhao Long probably does have a path with the grinding. If you got bets, I can see why you would target that side. But it's one where I wouldn't want to put major money on this one. I see it as quite a close competitive fight with likely one guy edging it out. Alright, we got Kavanagh versus Archer. So this fight here, I'm definitely picking Kavanagh, but I'll go over the skills and stuff. Kavanagh, I do think he's a young, talented fighter, very explosive, fighter who tries to fight with the advantages he's blessed with, such as his speed, his explosiveness, natural ability, natural talent. I think if I'm Dana, looking at his fight, looking at his kid, as you would say, I feel like he has that like kind of it factor, looks well rounded. Maybe did show some weakness against De Silva, but kind of nitpicking. He's been in there with a tougher level of competition. He's been fighting in Cage Warriors, etc., etc., etc. Obviously, one thing to keep in mind is that, you know, these young prospects, they can look great one day, and then next day, you know, they're busted prospects. So, you know, you've got to be careful in a sense. So Locha mainly looks to be a striker. You know, he's been running through lower level guys in the regionals in Peru. So I don't feel like he's properly like battle tested. I feel like Kavanagh's probably the one who's more battle tested. So I'm going to have to pick Kavanagh here. I do think he's likely the better fighter overall. More talent, more upside. He's more battle tested. And I think he's on this card for a reason. I think he's from England, but he's got some Chinese heritage. Sorry if I'm wrong there. So it's quite a unique, interesting case. So now I'm seeing some love for Ocha in certain chat rooms, certain discords. You know, I'm seeing rumblings on Ocha being really, really good, which kind of scares me off going really, really confident on Kavanagh. Maybe they see something I don't. Maybe I'm missing a certain piece of information, but from what I've seen from the tape so far, I think Kavanagh's going to be the pick for me. But we go to betting line, you know, it's a steep line. Not getting any discounts, 1.28. Not getting a lot of value, I feel. Maybe, you know. And a lot of people are putting money down on Ocha. You know, they're seeing something with him. So that kind of does scare me off a bit here. Alright. Next fight here, we got Carlos Hernandez versus Turman Dembarel. I'm not even going to bother saying the first name. So, this fight's interesting. Well, what interests me about this fight the most is the betting online. So, I see a lot of money's being coming in on Carlos Hernandez. Now, Hernandez, you know, I do consider him a more lower tier flyweight. Mainly got like a boxing attack. You know, he's definitely more battle tested. He's been in there, tougher strength of schedule. I do think he's a little bit undersized for flyweight. A lot of these flyweights are like bantamweights. He does look quite skinny for that division. You know, I don't think he's awful, but you know, I do consider him like a lower tier flyweight. But flyweights tend to be really, really skilled, fast, sharp. So, you know, that's not really like a massive kind of disrespect type of thing. Has good scrambles when it comes to his defensive grappling game. Has shown a weakness and proneness to getting out-grappled, out-wrestled when facing higher tiers of grapplers inside the division. So Tim, mainly a striker, boxing style of striker. I think he's a fighter who likes to use this kind of size, use his range. I can't really get like a super duper strong read on his striking because I haven't really seen him in like extended striking fights for like long periods of time against like decent caliber opponents. I don't think his defensive grappling is the best. I think he can get control there. Against Kiram, he went really, really hard for the kill. Showed him no respect, kind of gassed himself out. You know, he swings for it. Maybe looks like he packs a little bit of a punch. So, yeah. I don't think he's terrible, but I don't see him becoming like a real force inside the flyweight division. Who knows? I could be wrong though, right? So, I think Tim's probably going to be a few inches taller, have more reach, have more physicality. He probably has more of the early upside, I feel. Carlos, I feel like he's more battle tested. He's faced high level competition. You know, I think if anyone makes it out of grappling and wrestling and can explore that area, it's probably going to be Carlos Hernandez. Tim, don't really trust his defensive grappling. So, you know, as a pick, I have to go with Carlos here. I feel like he's more proven inside the UFC. I think he's starting to kind of put it all together a bit more. You know, I think he's been making improvements. I don't think he's ever going to be like a top tier flyweight, but I see some improvements in his game. And yeah, I just think he's kind of more refined fighter in this current position. So as a safer pick, you know, there's some unknowns with Tim. He could be amazing. But yeah, Carlos is going to be the pick. But from a betting perspective, as I know a lot of the money's been coming in on Carlos. I do agree with him being the slight favourite. I know the bookies are opening like 1.28 on Tim. I think they got that way wrong. I don't feel like you can make Tim the favourite in this matchup with all the information we've got available. I feel like Carlos should be the favourite. We know more about his game. We know more about his style. He's more proven. So Carlos has got to be the favourite, but there's some, kind of aura unknown factors with him. Who knows? He could come in, smoke Carlos, but I agree with Carlos being a slight betting favourite. I've probably capped him around 1.6. I think the line's getting a tad bit wide, but I see why the money's coming in. I do think it will, like, Carlos is more proven, just a little bit more refined, but I'm not mega confident on it. Probably like a low confidence pick, more of like a system pick, really. Alright, next fight, we got Shi Ming versus Feng. Okay, unfortunately, the team were open, so Feng's gonna have the size advantage in his matchup. I think she's quite tall, she's quite rangy, she's quite big. She doesn't look half bad, on her feet. I think she has more talent than Shan Ming. She can get some takedowns. I've seen her taken down. Show some get ups, but I don't think defensive grappling is like bulletproof. So I think Feng's gonna have the size advantage, physicality. I do probably think she's the better fighter overall, so I have to go with her as a pick. To me, though, she's a little bit unproven. The lack of footage. I know Shan Ming's been the underdog all the way across the board. So who knows, the underdog might come in, but I think there's probably a good reason why this line is around 1.29 for Feng. So yeah, I'll go with Feng, but not sure if I want to be putting her into our parlays, but I do favour her to get a win. Next fight here, we got Sahota versus Choi. So this fight here, with all due respects, I do consider this a kind of more lower tier caliber type of matchup. I think both fighters, they're not world class elite. Got a Choi, he's a southpaw flyweight. Looks to be my main striker. He kind of reminds me of a poor man's version of Conor McGregor in his prime, with his stance and stuff. Not really seeing the it factor. Same thing it goes with Sahota. Don't see an it factor here. He's a big flyweight. He's more like a bantamweight fighting at flyweight. If we go to the size advantage here, he's 5'10", 73-inch reach. So he's gonna have some size. He's basically a bantamweight fighting a flyweight, right? He likes to use his frame, use his size, use his range. Try and fight long. Look weak off his back in the gym. I like how he will push the clinch, but I feel he likes the technical refinement in this area to really kind of make it effective. Again, Sahota, you're just kind of lacking the it factor for me. I think Cruz obviously going to be the bigger fighter here. He's going to have some physicality. He's going to have some size in his matchup. He might have some success pushing a clinch. I feel like both fighters are very raw. I think I'm going to keep saying it. I do think it's a lower caliber fight for the division. I think whoever wins this fight, whoever faces the next flyweight, I think they're probably going to struggle once they face up, level up competitions. Crew has more experience, a lot more kind of respectable organizations like Cage Warriors. He has a lot more fights, but he's also had quite a lot of losses in the regionals, amateurs, which is a bit of a red flag for me. I'm going to go with Choi, low confidence though. I mean, I do consider this a lower caliber fight, so I wouldn't feel comfortable really betting either side, to be honest with you. I just think if we're like Choi might be a little bit better, and it's maybe a little bit more potential, but it's not really saying much. It likely goes to a decision. It's likely going to be back and forth. It's likely going to be competitive, but yeah, I'll go with Choi, but I'm not rushing out to bet either guy and put like a serious wager on him. All right, we got some of these names are so hard to pronounce. GLSC versus U. We'll go probably butchering that side. GLSC. So this is another kind of lower caliber fight. I mean, UFC, they cut all these half decent fighters and then kind of bringing in these lower caliber, unproven Asian fighters. Must be like cheap labor or anything, you know. But back to this fight, you know, I think this is probably going to be another fairly evenly matched fight. I don't really see like any significant advantages for either guy. I do slightly lean towards you, just because I think he might just be a slightly better, and you know, just moves a little bit better, moves a little bit better of a frequency. And overall, just slightly prefer his striking and his grappling. You know, I don't say it with that overwhelming amount of confidence. You know, it's one of those where I'm not itching to rush out to bet either of these guys, but rather kind of side with the U side. I think he might be able to mix up the wrestling a bit more, mix up the grappling, have a bit of success there. But yeah. All right, next fight we got Ozzy Diaz versus Zhang Ming Yang. Good fight this. Well, potentially. I think it's going to be violent. So I'm going to go with Zhang here. I think he's just, you know, he's more solid. He's more powerful. He's more explosive. He's more aggressive. The fight's in China. I feel like he does have more kind of talent upside. But saying that, like, he's not been properly tested. He's and faced a lot of ton of adversity, and he's been KO'd a few times in the regionals, and he's looked shaky in previous fights. So yeah, he's definitely not bulletproof. Ozzy Diaz. I'm not talking about Ozzy, the MMA capper. If you know, you know. Ozzy, you know, he looks to be mainly like a striker. You know, he's pretty bang average everywhere. You know, I saw some red flags with him. You know, I saw him get dropped by like this 40-year-old fighter. Doesn't look great, but I could see Ozzy coming in with like a high pressure game plan like he did against Joe Pyfer, where he did have some moments, you know, pressure, etc. Zhang, you know, he is kind of unproven. You know, maybe the pressure could get to him, but as a pure pick, I have to go with Zhang, just because I do think he is more kind of technically refined, a more gifted fighter. But I'm not sure that Ozzy Diaz is at that level, but I do have some concerns with Zhang, as mentioned, and I think the betting line is fairly accurate, set by the books. You're not gonna want to give Zhang out at like minus 200, minus 160, 1.60, those kind of lines, because you're just gonna get hammered on Zhang bets. So I think the books have done a quite good job of setting these odds accurately, because you don't want to be giving out discounts on Zhang. So yeah, I'll go with Zhang, but yeah. All right. Next fight we've got Carlos Ulberg versus Volkan Ozdemir. This might be the best fight on a card, you know. Great fight. You got this one I imagine should be violent. So who should we start off with? First of all, if you join the breakdowns, make sure to like, share, comment, share it to Facebook. Anyways, Ulberg, I really like Ulberg striking actually. I think he shows like really good technique. I think he does a really good job of kind of finding the kill shot, timing his punches, and kind of placing them perfectly. I definitely feel that Ulberg is a KO threat. I think he does have some good kicks as well. I think his preference for style is to counter strike, move around, use good footwork, and let his opponents force the action. So Ulberg can find the counter and the kill shot. You know, he shows some good offensive wrestling in round 3 against Jung, and he trains with Izzy. The gym's name skipping my mind, but yeah, Olberg kind of gives me that gut feeling that he's solid. You know, he has shown some weakness, particularly in the cardio, like against Kennedy. Kind of gassed himself out, maybe got a little bit overexcited for the kill. And, you know, he had a tough kind of, you could see that he was kind of shaking up the cobwebs in his next fight. But I do like it. I do like his kickboxing. I consider him a upper tier striker, especially inside the light heavyweight division. He's got that look. He's kind of got, I think he does modelling as well. So UFC's kind of, obviously Volkan Ozdemir is a beast. I'm not writing him off, but as a general, I've noticed that UFC's kind of been giving him quite good matchups, and he's 34 now. He has to make the run for the kind of top 5, push for the belt now. It's now or never for Carlos Olberg. So Volkan, heavy boxing approach. I think for light heavyweight standards, I do think he is a solid boxer, and he can definitely sting you. He looks to kind of pressure his opponents, force the action, and yeah, I do like his boxing. I mean, one of the weaknesses of Volkan is that I do think he slows down as the fight progresses. He becomes kind of more laboured. So obviously Volkan's more kind of battle tested as well, right? He fought for a belt, he fought DC for the belt back in the day. So I think Volkan could use his vet savviness, turn this into a war. I could also see a scenario where Olberg kind of dances around, wins a decision, or possibly just finds a kill shot. Overall prediction though, you know, I have a hard time picking against Olberg personally. I think Volkan probably going to put the pressure on him, which opens up Olberg's style. And I think Volkan's probably going to need to force the fight, which Olberg is going to want. Olberg, I think he does have some good footwork, can dance around the cage, find a counter. But, you know, saying all that, it is a step up in competition for Olberg. I think from a betting perspective, most of his advantages are being baked into the betting line. What's the odds? Like 1.41. At the end of the day, Volkan is a respectable fighter who's fought for the belt and does bring a dangerous skill set. So I'm going to pick Olberg here. Medium confidence. I think most of the advantages are being baked into the betting line. I'd like to have gotten a more kind of maybe like 1.5 minus 200, that kind of range. Definitely not getting any discounts to be able to bet Olberg. And, you know, Olberg got steamed down to 1.33, and, you know, the market came back in on the Volkan side, so there's some respectable action. I think Olberg might get more betting action. I can imagine him being put into parlays, but yeah, as a pure pick, I guess I'll go with Olberg. Next fight here, we got Wang Kong versus Gabriel Fernandez. Now, I really like this Kong girl. Definitely has that it factor for me. If I'm Dana watching her fights, I'm like, yo, this Kong girl has something about her. I love her striking. I think her striking's her kickboxing's very, very good. Very smooth, clean, and she hits hard. And she kind of reminds me of Yan Xiaonan in that way, where she definitely kind of, I feel like, hits above average, definitely packs a punch. Not like Call of Duty pack a punch, but like packs a punch. She beat Shevchenko back in kickboxing in 2015. So I can get a strong read on her striking. Grappling, there's some footage. I think her grappling does look alright, but we're not 100% certain. I don't think the grappling will play too much of a factor in this matchup. Fernandez is mainly a striker. Fernandez, mainly a striker, fights out of southpaw, has a very nice left roundhouse kick, throws with power, really tries to put venom in our strikes. But she does become less explosive, less powerful as the fight progresses. Ground game is a clear weakness for Fernandez. She looks awful for her back. Obviously, we go to the betting line. I agree with Wang being a big favourite. Definitely not getting any discounts here. You're definitely paying up a heavy price. There's definitely a hype tax, rightfully so. And this is probably her hardest tested date. She's around like 1.13, so she's slightly better odds than she was against Victor Leonardo, which makes sense because it's a slight step up in, well, it's actually quite a big step in competition compared to Victor Leonardo. But yeah, all the advantages are being baked into the betting line. So yeah, I do really like this Kong girl. Top prospect in my opinion. and I do think she's the better overall fighter. So I have a hard time picking against Kong here. High confidence on Kong, but betting line, not getting discounts. All her advantages are being baked into that line, and very accurately set, in my opinion. Next fight here, we got Muslim Salikov versus Song Kenan. So this fight here, Song, definitely consider Song a lower tier caliber of fighter. Even though, shout out to Song, you made me some money against Ricky Glenn. Super duper appreciate that, brother. That was an interesting one because everyone's picking Song Kenan, but there was some big money moving the line on Ricky Glenn. So I wonder what that was about. By the time it was Fight Night, he closed like 1.33. Anyways, I'm going off topic, but Song definitely a lower tier caliber fighter. Mainly got like a boxing style of attack. I feel like he is quite limited to his game, but I feel like he packs a little bit of a punch. Don't trust his cardio, to be honest. So Salikov, kung fu based style of striker. He's a fighter who likes to counter strike, look to explode. I mean, if we're talking in prime Salikov, he would smoke Song. But I think Salikov has just been looking worse and worse and worse as he's been aging, to be honest. I mean, the fight's in China, so even if the fight's remotely close, who knows? You might get some home cooking. I mean, there's no way I'd be betting Salikov as quite a big favourite. It's definitely a dog or pass situation for me from a betting perspective. But I suppose from what I see from the tape, even though his age, I mean, I kind of have to lean towards Salikov. Probably is the more kind of technically refined fighter. Normally I'll probably go with Song, but tape says Salikov for me. But this is one where I might change my pick on, actually, as the week progresses, just because, Song is a bit younger, fights in China. Salikov, I imagine, is going to be looking worse and worse, but, he probably is the more kind of technically refined fighter, but I would not be betting Salikov in this matchup. I would not be paying up 1.57, 1.6, 1.50. It's an easy dog or pass situation for me from a betting perspective. So if I was going to target this side from a betting perspective, I'd only bet Song, and just fingers crossed, pray that he gets the job done. All right. Next up, we co-main event of the evening. We got Tabitha Ricci versus Yan Xiaonan. So, first of all, make sure to like the video, share the video. If you like the content, of course, super duper appreciate it. Super duper appreciate everyone tuning in. Yeah. So, this is quite a intriguing matchup. So we got Ricci. I don't think she kind of like excels in like any one area in MMA. I do think she is pretty well rounded. I just think she kind of makes up for that by just pushing and grinding pace, making a fight ugly. Heavy pressure style with her toughness. She'll push her opponents up against a clinch. Push her wrestling. I don't think her offensive wrestling, just grappling, is very strong, but I think she is a black belt saying that. I remember Santino saying that when she gets her opponents down, she's quite high level, but I don't think her offensive wrestling that effective. She has some nice strip takedowns though. With her striking, again, not elite anywhere. I think she's been making improvements and developments to her overall striking. Like mid-level striker, I would say. Again, her game is the pace, the pressure, pushing an uncomfortable pace, making a fight ugly, dirty, gritty. So Zan, I mean, I really, really like Zan's boxing. I think for women's MMA standards, I think her boxing is savage. Just really clean, technical, and definitely hits hard for a strawweight. Just showcases good, clean boxing fundamentals. Very good at finding counters. So yeah, I'm very, very high on Zan's boxing, striking of attack. Her ground game's a joke though. If taken down, she is extremely weak off her back. So obviously there's some concerns I do have with Zan. She's coming off a quite a tough title fight 6 months ago. I know she had her moments, but that fight got ugly at moments, got ugly in periods. So that's definitely a concern there for me. People coming off title fights, they tend to kind of decline. And yeah, I do think her ground game is a joke. So if Richie's able to take her down, she could probably have some success, possibly. Maybe like title fight 6 months ago, maybe on a slight decline, motivation's not there as much. Who knows? And also, I do feel like Richie probably does have a path just by like outpacing her, putting the pressure on, clinching her, making a fight ugly, gritty. But I have to go with Zhang probably as a pick. I just really like her striking. I think anytime the fight's standing, it's probably going to be really, really dangerous. Also, I think like Zhang probably has more big moment upside. Richie could be pushing up against the fence, pushing up against clinch. Zhang breaks out for a few exchanges, lands some hard eye-catching shots, maybe even drops Richie. That could be enough to steal the round. So I do like that aspect about Zhang. Going to the betting line, I think you can look at this kind of both ways. So what's she at the moment? 1.53. I think you can look at it as, hey, we're going to discount on Zhang because she's coming off a title fight. She's coming off a loss. If it wasn't for that title fight, she would be probably minus 300, 1.33, maybe even a bigger favourite. But you could also be looking at it as it's a good dog opportunity for Richie. She's kind of on the rise. She's been winning. Zhang's coming off a title fight. She lost that. She can make the fight ugly, gritty, etc., etc. So I think you can make a strong argument for both sides of the spectrum. But this is one I'd probably like to think about a little bit more. I think it's quite a complex fight. But currently how I'm feeling off my gut, I'd rather side with Zhang. I think she has the big moment upside. So we go to the main event of the evening. You got Petr Yan versus Deiveson Figueiredo. So Yan, very, very good, well-rounded fighter. Definitely has that kind of like evil streak about him. You can tell this guy just loves hurting people. Like, he's nasty. I really like his boxing. I really like his pressure. He really puts in his opponents. Just overall, as a whole package of a fighter, I think he's very, very well-rounded. Borderline, he's basically, he was a champion, right? I think he was a champion. Maybe I'm wrong there because he DQ, etc. But I think he was a champion. But yeah, I really like the skill sets that Yan's been able to display. I think he won't reach the peak levels again. I think it's just going to be like a steady small decline. So Figueiredo, also actually one more thing, he did kind of seem mentally broken against Merab. Merab definitely, I feel like, mentally broke him. He was a very, very high confidence fighter. Obviously he did perform well against Yadong Song, who I do really, really like as a fighter. That was a really good win in my books. And obviously, I think we'll go to the betting line in the end. So Figgy, former champion, love his brother as well. Made me loads of money when he was fighting that flyweight. He's moving up from 125 to 135. He's starting to settle quite nicely inside the division. Heavy-handed fighter. He's going to swing. He's going to load up on shots. And when he does throw, it's usually like a boxing punch. He tries to fight a lot more patient now. And so the shots are more... And he tries to really kind of pick his shots a lot more. Because I think he really believes in his power. And he's also trying to kind of reserve his gas tank. Figgy, he's a guy who kind of does slow down as the fight progresses. Round 3, round 4, round 5. I think it's a well-rounded fight as well. I think his offensive grappling, BJJ game is solid. His grappling looked really good against Cody. I think he got takedowns against Font or obviously Vera's easiest to take down, but he took down Vera, had some control there. So I do think he's quite well-rounded, but his main skill set is the heavy-handed boxing. So we go to the betting line though. Now, the Petr Yan buy low spot was against Yadong Song. Not getting any discounts here. I trust Yan more as the fight progresses. I think I think Figueiredo has more of the early upside and potential. I think both fighters are really, really good. I think this is a high level fight. I don't think it's like both fighters are in their prime anymore, but I think this is like two top tier talent going at it. I favour Yan because I just trust him for 5 rounds more. I trust his activity more as well. I think he put more volume out, but I think like Fee could definitely be live to land something big, powerful, and have a big moment. So yeah, betting line. Don't feel like you're getting any discounts to be able to bet Yan, but I do kind of favour him overall to win this matchup. So yeah, end of the breakdowns. Make sure to share, comment, sub, all that good stuff. Take care.